Welcome to a video on how to get good at breakfast brains. A crusader and enthusiast in not only the ability to force feed people breakfast but to also bitch slap the every living shit out of their enemies. Players who can master this healthy enthusiastic piece of shit can easily rip through the enemy team like they're a bunch of pancakes. Let's get started. Breakfast Brainz is a variant of the Super Brainz class, who is covered in so much shit related to the average American breakfast you'd think he's trying to be a physical sponsor for a brand new breakfast cereal. Whilst he has the same amount of health as every other variant, he moves noticeably faster than the rest, traveling at 8.05 meters per second, as opposed to 7 meters per second like every other variant. Whilst this may not sound like much, it does mean that you can move around quicker if your heroic kicks aren't available. Breakfast Brainz' primary weapon is his break fists, which consists of a barrage of bitch slaps as opposed to full-on punches. The weapon initially starts at a fire rate of 200 rounds per minute, though by holding down the attack button, it can gradually increase up to a maximum of 650 rounds per minute, allowing you to slap people like it's business as usual. The weapon can fire for up to 8.6 seconds before suffering an overheat, making it unavailable for the next 4.1 seconds. Each slap fired can deal 5.5 damage. Additionally, when the weapon is close to overheating, you will slow down by up to 40% as you come close to overheating. This can easily be used to know when exactly to let your weapon cool down briefly. Breakfast Brainz is the only Super Brainz who cannot use his melee in midair, so do keep this in mind. Another thing is that upon scoring a vanquish with your break fists, you will gain a 30% speed increase for the next 3.5 seconds. This speed boost can be used to either quickly flee the scene of the crime or to make haste towards your next victim and quickly take them on without hesitation. Because of the nature of how his primary functions, a popular tactic is to start firing the weapon prior to engaging a fight, so that by the time your opponent is within bitch slapping distance, it would have reached its maximum rate of fire, allowing you to easily plow through their health without having to wait on the speed up time. Now onto his secondary fire, which unlike most of the other variants is not a beam weapon but instead a barrage of waffles that you fire at the enemy. The weapon has a base fire rate of 175 rounds per minute, though much like his primary fire, by keeping the attack button held down, the rate of fire will increase up to a maximum of 675 rounds per minute. The weapon can fire for up to 3.33 seconds before suffering an overheat, making it unavailable for the next 7.3 seconds. Each shot fired can deal 5 damage for a normal hit and 6 damage for a critical hit. However, the weapon does have significantly harsh drop-off, with it going all the way down to 1 damage for a normal hit and 1.2 for a critical hit. This is best used either to finish off enemies who escaped your melee range, or to pick on enemies you're not fond of approaching, such as chompers or the barbecue tree man. The optimum upgrade setup for Breakfast Brainz would be the damage, overheat, and health regeneration upgrades, with the damage upgrade being especially essential as it grants a near 20% increase to your damage output, which due to how his primary weapon functions, can greatly improve his overall time to kill and general effectiveness against bulkier enemies. In terms of strengths, Breakfast Brainz' increased mobility and bonus speed upon a melee kill can allow him to be hypermobile, even without the use of your heroic kicks, allowing you to preserve them for more dire situations. His fast maximum attack speed when paired with the damage upgrade can easily shred through low health opponents like sunflowers and roses, especially if he gets the surprise attack on them. However, both of Breakfast Brainz' weapons take a moment to wind up to their max speed, so if enemies see you coming, then they'll have a large window of opportunity to strike. Additionally, if your melee weapon ends up overheating, then you'll be left completely defenseless for the next 4 seconds, leaving you extremely vulnerable. Thanks to this guide, you will now be able to successfully bitch slap people to death with the power of bollock sauce. Be sure to come back for the next episode next week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more shit like this. Have fun.